So in order to get our Losi Nascar race ready, we are going to go through some final things that I have not done yet. So we're going to water break in a few of the motors, just get these things out of the way. I'll probably never do it again until after like a big race, or if I find a really good motor, I might break down and do it during a race. We're going to balance our tires, and we are also going to lube up and polish all of the pins that are on the car. So I'm Chad, this is the Dorky and 40 RC channel. We're going to try to make my Losi Nascar faster today. Big shout out to all the channel members. Appreciate all of you guys. And you know, if you love the content, especially the Losi Nascar, please comment or like the video, trying to get a gauge for what the actual temperature of the car is. A lot of people seem to be very upset with Losi as a brand. I guess I don't blame you with some of their faults and business practices that Horizon has made. But, you know, tracks need to know like where the racers stand coming up here into the fall. Plenty of cars are available out there. Maybe people are waiting on certain liveries. We don't know actually which ones they look like, but we do know which ones are coming. So drop it in the comments below. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the motors all done. I will tell you right off the bat, shocks, we're just doing 80 weight all around. We're not touching the diffs at all. We're raising up each body post a half a hole. So if you look at your body post in the back here and in the front, you've got an upper and a lower hole, and you can adjust the body height by a half a hole increment, which is pretty nice. So some forethought that Losi had in there. So I'm going to do all that, and once we're done with all of these little steps, I'll just give you brief things about each one of them. Car's going to be ready to go for the track, hopefully tomorrow night for some on-road trophy racing. Let's go.
Well, I've always wanted to know if I would ever have a use for one of these things again, and here we are. We're breaking in some Losi motors. What we got going on here? Well, we got a little science experiment going on. So, a long time ago when I used to build FPV quads constantly, I purchased one of these multi-point type of soldering type of things, which, you know, I never really used, but I was kind of like trying to work on a jig here that I can use on the bench and at the track to like clean and break in my motors. So this is kind of what we're doing right now. So I've got a benchtop power supply over there set to about 3.4 volts, which is pretty much what I've seen everybody doing. Just taking, usually at the track, the quick, dirty way to do it is to just kind of hang one of these things in a coffee cup like this and hook it up to like a 1-cell battery that's, you know, anywhere between 3.5 and 4 volts, and clean it out, let it spin, take it back, blow it out, lube it up, blow it out again, so on and so forth. So that's kind of like what we're doing here. But of course, I've got more of a convenience here. I can maintain my voltage, and I can see the current kind of rippling and all that kind of stuff while it's going on. And I can just let these things sit here and run for as long as you want to. Now, how long do you want these things to run? I mean, they could run for 5 minutes. They could run for 5 hours. You are going to get a gazillion different, you know, ways of how to do these brush motors off the internet. So I'm probably just going to run mine maybe for about an hour. I've got 3 of them to do. And then I'm going to take them out. I'm going to blow them out and dry them. We're going to spray them down with some electronics cleaner, and then we'll clean them again, then dry them out again, and then lube them up with the Amazon affiliated PTFE oil that I linked below. It's down below. You'll see it. It's this 3-in-1 stuff right here. Like, you just can't beat this stuff. Like, you can use it on everything. So not only to re-lube your bushings, but if you need to put it in places where you just want a little less friction, you know, you can do that. Like, I've got hinge pins right there that I'm going to polish up and get all the nastiness off of them. And then maybe I'll just kind of give them a light coating of this PTFE, because the good thing about PTFE is, you know, it's anti-friction. It also will prevent a little bit of stuff like from attracting to surfaces. So like you won't get as much like tire prep and as much tire carpet and stuff like that all over. So this is good stuff right here. There's an Amazon link to that down there below. So everybody's kind of done this. This is kind of one of those kind of necessary things that you just kind of have to do with these brush motors. During the big oval races, I saw people doing this after every heat, like cleaning their motors, drying them, lubing them, everything. And I mean, like I said, I saw serious oval guys spending almost as much, if not more time on their freaking Losi NASCARs than their actual like oval trucks up there, because it takes a lot to get that extra tenth out of like one of these cars. And up there, you're already all pretty much within a tenth. So it really comes down to just driving, and if you've got that magical something when it counts. Then after I'm done with each motor, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put like a dot on it, and I'll just dot 1, 2, 3 with my 3 motors. So that way I can keep track of which motor is what. So I know that this is the original motor that I just took out of my car, and then we could run it with a different various combination of batteries and just try to find that one that is going to give us the most heat on the oval. Again, for on-road, really doesn't mean a whole lot to me, because like the cars are all about driving consistent. That's just how on-road is. But, you know, if I can find one that can get me a little bit of extra time on the straight, maybe that would be fine. But there's really no true way to like measure it unless I were to like kind of like go through like GoPro video frame by frame and try to measure out how fast I am going down the straight. But again, that's kind of a fool's errand when it comes to these, because I might be able to pick up a couple hundredths on the straight, but then I could lose it in like 20 places on the track. Now, when it comes to polishing like pins and kingpins and all that kind of stuff, no big secret here. I'm just using like mothers, some towels, chucking them up in a Dremel. And this is something that you do nearly with every race car. With the Losi, probably don't need to do it that often. In fact, if you don't feel like comfortable taking the car apart, don't do it. You know, like there's very little performance gain here, but you know, they're pretty black. I got the rags over there in the trash. You know, just kind of sweep it up and down a couple times and just kind of get a nice smooth to the touch. You don't need to like graunch it down and just polish the thing to death. You know, we're just dealing with kind of basic metal here, so it's not a big deal. So I've already went through and done all that, but just to show you what we're doing, it's pretty simple. Things you should be doing on like buggies, all kinds of different cars. I do them on my on-road cars, obviously, polishing kingpins, pivot balls, things like that, just to make things as smooth and beautiful as possible. These Losi's tires are actually very good balanced tires out of the box, and I'm just using the DURBO propeller balancer. I've got a link to it down below in the description if you're looking for what I'm talking about, and you can run through these pretty quickly. These things really are just kind of like a little one type of deal, and it will make a huge difference in your car's performance and stuff. Of course, you want to do everything on as level surface as possible. Sometimes I do these at the track on the granite, and pretty simple deal. We just got it set up here, and we just chuck it up and give the tire a little spin, and we're going to find the high spot, which always goes to the bottom. And then I just grab a little bit of my putty here. I'm using like Hootie putty. You know, you can use any kind of putty that you want. I suggest just going and getting a big block of like the plumber's putty at like Home Depot or Lowe's. And I just take a little chunk of it. Once I find the heavy spot, which goes to the bottom, put it on the opposite end, put it back up in the chuck, and then I just kind of reposition it again and see what happens. And in this case, I have actually created a little bit more of a heavier spot. So we'll reach in there, take that, get rid of like half of that by just pulling it off, find our heavy spot again. So now we're on the bottom. So we're going to put it up here,
And this is probably going to be close enough. Like, you don't really need to go super crazy on these. You know, if it drops and moves a little bit, it's okay. But you can see that now I can pretty much position the tire anywhere and it's not moving at all. So some tires are incredibly hard to balance, but for some reason, these Losi tires are pretty freaking easy. So, you know, I did this in 5 minutes, just doing up the 4 tires. I'll probably do some other ones while I got everything out here, and that way we won't ever have to worry about it again. And after all of that fun and excitement, the Losi NASCAR is race ready now. Best thing about racing this thing is you literally can throw everything in a book bag on a NASCAR night and just go. You don't have to worry about carrying totes and power supplies and charge leads and all this other stuff. You just need some basic tools, your stuff, your prep, some towels. You're good to go. So that's very, very appealing after all the other stuff that we do racing the multiple classes with the buggies and the GT12 and all of the work and little intricacies that go into it. So even though this looks like a lot of work, in the end, it definitely like encourages an easier, more fun and exciting race night. So hope you guys enjoyed the little video and it helps you out. We'll talk to you all later. Peace.